the size of it! Jonah!
He had one job. Walk into the most violent, most feared city on earth. Tell them God was watching. Instead, he bought a ticket going the opposite direction. Not a metaphorical opposite direction, an actual ship, sailing the actual opposite way, away from the one place God told him to go, away from Nineveh, toward the edge of the known world. What happened next is not the school story you remember. It is darker. A prophet who hated the people he was sent to save. A storm the sailors understood before he admitted it. 3 days inside something that should have killed him in minutes. It didn't. A city of 120,000 who repented faster than any nation in recorded history. 8 words, and a prophet who ended the story angrier about a dead plant than about thousands of lives saved. This is the real story of Jonah, not the fish story, the real one. Grounded in what archaeology tells us about Nineveh, and what the Hebrew text actually says. Nineveh was not a minor outpost. By the 8th century BC, it was becoming the largest city on Earth. The walls stretched 7.5 miles in circumference, 50 feet high, 8 monumental gates, a ziggurat at the center, the Tigris River beside it, hundreds of thousands inside those walls. This was the capital of empire. The Assyrians were not just powerful, they were specifically, deliberately, professionally terrifying. Terror was the strategy. Their own royal inscriptions boast about flaying captured kings alive, building pyramids of severed heads outside conquered cities. This was not exaggeration. This was their stated military doctrine, the most feared army on earth. Jonah was from Gath-Hepher in northern Israel. He knew exactly what Assyria was, and exactly what it did. Assyria was the empire that, within decades of his lifetime, would conquer the northern kingdom of Israel entirely and scatter its people. Jonah was not being sent to a neutral foreign city. He was being sent to warn the nation that would destroy his own people. The word of the Lord came to him. Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city. Call out against it. 4 words into the assignment, Jonah was already moving. The wrong direction. The text moves with startling speed. But Jonah rose to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. Tarshish was a Phoenician colony in what is now southern Spain, the opposite end of the known world from Nineveh. He went down to Joppa, found a ship going to Tarshish, paid the fare himself, and went below decks. He went down into the inner part of the ship, lay down, and was fast asleep. Flat, let it land. The Lord hurled a great wind upon the sea. There was a mighty tempest. The ship threatened to break up. The sailors were professional Mediterranean mariners. They had weathered countless storms. They were terrified. Each cried out to his own God. Cargo was thrown overboard. Professional men doing professional things, still dying. And where was the prophet? Below deck, asleep. The captain, a ship captain, had to waken. What do you mean, you sleeper? Arise, call out to your God. A ship captain rebuking a prophet of the living God for failing to pray. The irony is not subtle. The sailors cast lots to determine who caused this. The lot fell on Jonah. He was not surprised.
Call out to your God.
They asked him,
Maybe your God
"Who
will
are you?
listen.
Where do you come from?
Maybe we won't all die.
On whose account is this storm upon us?" Jonah's answer is the most theologically complete sentence in the book. "I am a Hebrew. I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry
We
land.
need to know who has brought this fate upon
He knows
us.
exactly who
Is it
God
you?
is.
I am a
He just spent 4 verses running from him on a boat. On the sea God made. The sailors were even more afraid. They were carrying a man who had angered the creator of the sea they were drowning in. They asked, "What shall we do to calm this storm?" His answer, "Pick me up, hurl me into the sea." This is not despair. Jonah knew the math. The storm was about him. The only options, Nineveh or the sea. The sailors, ship captain who don't worship Jonah's God, try to save him anyway. They row hard toward land. When rowing fails, they pray directly to Jonah's God before throwing him in. These men did not have to do that. Captain Prayer, wait. O Lord, let us not perish for this man's life. Lay not on us innocent blood. You have done as it pleased you. The most theologically sophisticated prayer in this chapter comes from the ship captain, not the prophet. They threw him in. The storm stopped. Protect this. And the sailors offered sacrifice and made vows to the Lord. The first converts in the Book of Jonah, not the Ninevites, the sailors, who converted by watching what happened to a prophet who never tried to convert them. And the Lord appointed a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. The Hebrew word is dag gadol, great fish, not specifically a whale. The text is non-specific. The function matters more than the species. The fish was both judgment and rescue in the same action. Punished by being swallowed, saved from drowning by being swallowed. Inside the fish, Jonah prays, and this prayer is composed almost entirely of quotations from the Psalms. A man immersed in Israel's worship tradition his whole life reaches for the inherited words, even from inside a sea creature. But notice what the prayer does not contain. It does not contain the words, "I'm sorry." It is a prayer of gratitude for rescue from drowning. Entirely sincere, beautifully composed. But it sidesteps the actual sin that put him there. And the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah out upon the dry land. Let it land. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Arise, go to Nineveh. That is it. No rebuke, no lecture about the storm, no discussion of the fish. Just go.
Yet 40 days, and Nineveh
this time,
shall be overthrown.
Jonah goes. Let it breathe. Nineveh was an exceedingly great city, 3 days' journey in breadth, the largest city on earth. His assignment.
Have mercy on us.
Jonah began to go into the city, going a day's journey, and he called out,
Dust and ash.
"Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown." 8 words in Hebrew,
Thus declares the king.
the shortest prophetic message in the entire Hebrew Bible. No explanation, no context, no call to specific repentance, no mention of God's name, no path forward. Just 40 days, then destruction. And the response is the most successful evangelistic outcome in the history of recorded prophecy by any metric. The people of Nineveh believed God. They called for a fast, put on sackcloth, from the greatest to the least. Word reached the king. He rose from his throne, removed his robe, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat in ashes. He issued a decree. Every human, and even the livestock, were to fast, wear sackcloth, and turn from their violence. The entire city, 120,000 people, repented within days of hearing 8 words from a prophet with no enthusiasm for his job. And God relented of the disaster, and he did not do it. Jonah's reaction to the most successful prophetic mission in history. Devastating. Not joy. Hold each word. It displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was angry. He prays. And this prayer finally contains the confession the first one omitted. He knew. He always knew. Jonah.
Why?
Confession. I knew that you are a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love, relenting from disaster. Therefore now, O Lord, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live. This is the real reason Jonah ran to Tarshish. Not fear of Assyria, not fear of failure. He knew God would save them. And he ran because he believed completely and didn't want what he believed to happen. He goes outside the city, builds himself a shelter, and waits, still hoping for the destruction that is not coming. God appoints a plant to grow up over Jonah, providing shade. And Jonah is exceedingly glad about the plant. The most relaxed Jonah has been in this entire story. A man who cannot be glad about 120,000 lives, glad about a plant. Then God appoints a worm. The worm attacks the plant overnight. It withers. A scorching east wind blows. The sun beats on Jonah's head until he is faint, and again he asks to die. God asks him directly, "Do you do well to be angry for the plant?" Jonah,
The
defiant,
famous symbol is the
no
wrong
hesitation.
answer. This is the actual
Yes.
subject.
He does
Not
well
the
to
fish,
be angry,
but his resentment.
angry enough to die. The unbroken defiance. The prophet who converted a city of 120,000 people without changing a single thing about himself. And then the final words of the book, God's closing argument, delivered directly, with no narrative resolution. You pity the plant, for which you did not labor, nor did you make it grow, which came into being in a night and perished in a night. And should not I pity Nineveh, that great city, in which there are more than 120,000 persons who do not know their right hand from their left, and also much cattle? Full silence after. The book ends there. Do not fill this silence. No reconciliation scene. No moment where Jonah repents. No record of whether he ever accepted what happened. The most psychologically realistic prophetic book in Scripture ends on an unresolved question directed at every reader. The Book of Jonah is not primarily about a fish. It is about a man who knew his God perfectly and ran from him anyway. Not out of disbelief, out of a very specific, very human resentment toward a mercy he found offensive when extended to the wrong people. The sailors converted by watching. The Ninevites converted by 8 words, and the prophet, with every theological advantage, learned nothing. It is the only book in the prophetic corpus where the prophet is the villain, and they are the heroes. And it asks one question the text refuses to answer for you. When grace gets extended to the people you think least deserve it, what do you do? The text gives us one biographical fact before the assignment. Jonah, son of Amittai, from Gath-Hepher, a real place. 2 Kings 14:25 confirms him outside his own book. A real prophet who prophesied during the reign of Jeroboam II. Historical. Gath-Hepher sits near modern Nazareth in Lower Galilee, the archaeological site identifiable today, a real hometown. The Joppa he departed from is modern Jaffa, Iron Age occupation confirmed at the site. The real departure point, the Nineveh he was sent to, is modern Mosul, Iraq. The ancient city walls, traceable in the landscape today, still there. The palace reliefs of Nineveh are in the British Museum. Carved stone records of the city's existence, 2,700 years old. There was a period in the early 8th century BC when Assyrian power temporarily weakened, the specific historical window that makes the Nineveh response plausible. Nineveh had a tradition of the fish deity. The Assyrian Apkallu, the fish sages, were associated with divine wisdom. A prophet arriving in a city that revered fish-related divinity, carrying the appearance of a man who emerged from a great fish, had an audience before he spoke a word. The theology of conditional prophecy explains the outcome. 8 words were conditional. Nineveh repented. God relented. The system worked exactly as designed. Not Jonah's failure, not God's inconsistency. The conditional prophecy fulfilled. The Nineveh that Jonah saved was destroyed anyway. in 612 BC by the Babylonians and the Medes. Never rebuilt. The generation that repented was spared. Their grandchildren's city not spared. The temporary mercy, the eventual judgment. Jonah is the only prophet in the Hebrew Bible who is explicitly angry at his own prophecy coming true, which makes the book the most subversive piece of prophetic literature in the entire Hebrew canon. 4 chapters, 1 question. Not because it challenges the existence of God, because it challenges the reader's ownership of God's mercy. The fish, 3 days. The warning, 40 days. The response, 120,000 people. The prophet's focus, 1 dead plant. 8 words produced the largest single mission conversion in biblical history, and the prophet spent the aftermath furious under a dead plant. The sailors converted by watching. The Ninevites converted by 8 words. And the prophet, the one with all the information, sat still and angry. God pursued him through a storm, through a fish, through a withered plant, just to ask him one final question. And the book refuses to give you Jonah's answer. Because the book is not asking Jonah, it is asking you. If this changed how you see the Book of Jonah, if you'll never read it as just a fish story again, hit that like and subscribe. Share this with someone who only knows the school version. Because the real story isn't about survival inside a sea creature.